Good evening. On behalf of the commissioners and staff, I would like to welcome you to the February 9th, 2023 City of Roseville Planning Commission meeting. As a reminder, please put all electronic devices on silent at this time. Agendas are available at the end of the staff table. If you plan to speak at tonight's meeting, complete a blue speaker card and return it to the staff table. As a reminder, Planning Commission meetings are broadcast live and replayed throughout the week on Consolidated Communications and Comcast. I will now call the meeting to order. Lupe, may I please have a roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Brashears.
Here.
Commissioner Jensen.
Here.
Commissioner Hagen-Jost.
Here.
Commissioner Pryor.
Here.
Commissioner Randolph.
Here.
Vice Chair Covington.
Here.
And Chair Martin.
Here. Okay, if you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Randolph, could you lead us, please?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Lupe, can we please have staff introductions?
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. Lupe Nelson, Recording Secretary.
Good evening, Commissioners. Joe Speaker, Assistant City Attorney. Good evening, Chair Martin and Commissioners. Greg Bitter, Planning Manager.
Good evening, Chair Martin and Commissioners. Derek Ogden, Senior Planner.
Good evening, Chair Martin and Commissioners. Kenny Shallow, Associate Planner.
Great, thank you. Next up on our item is the public comments. The public comment period is a time for anyone who would like to address the commission on any item that is not on tonight's agenda. When addressing the commission, please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to address the commission on any item that's not on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment period. Next up is the consent calendar. The consent calendar consists of routine items that may be approved under one motion as recommended in the staff reports. However, each item may be considered separately upon a request by the audience, Planning Commission, or staff. Tonight's consent calendar consists of one item. It's item 5.1, which are the meeting minutes from January 12th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. Is there anyone in the commission or in the audience who would like to pull this item off the consent calendar for a separate discussion? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Commissioner Pryor has made the motion and Commissioner Brashears has seconded the motion. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Brashears.
Yes.
Vice Chair Covington.
Yes.
Commissioner Randolph.
Yes.
Commissioner Pryor.
Yes.
Commissioner Hagen-Jost.
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen.
Yes.
And Chair Martin.
Yes. The motion is approved. Next item is the request presentations on the agenda. So before we begin, I want to review the meeting procedures. We will hear the staff presentation, then I will take questions from the commission, then I will open up the public hearing and the applicant will make a presentation. Then I will open up the public comment and the public will have an opportunity to speak. Then I will close public comment, and if needed, the applicant will be given time to provide a rebuttal. Then I will close the public hearing, and the commission may ask questions of staff. And finally, the commission will consider the item and make a decision based upon information provided in the report from staff and the testimony presented during tonight's hearing. So item 6.1 is a request that the City Council adopt a resolution approving the specific plan and approve the 10th Amendment of the Fiddyment Land Venture Development Agreement, and that the Planning Commission approve the tentative parcel map and tree permit for 5251 Fiddyment Road, for the record, file number PL22-0304. Kenny, can we have your presentation, please?
Yes, good evening again. I'm here to present the West Roseville Specific Plan Parcel F22 project. The project site is located at the northeast corner of Fiddyment Road and Harvey Way in the West Roseville Specific Plan area. The site is currently vacant and has a land use designation of high-density residential and is zoned multifamily residential, or R3, and has a current unit allocation of 244 units, and 184 of these units are designated as affordable rental units. Surrounding uses include open space to the north, a medium-density residential subdivision to the east, Plaza at Blue Oaks Retail Center to the south across Harvey Way, and a vacant community commercial parcel and open space to the west across Fiddyment Road. The project includes a request for a tentative parcel map to subdivide the site into 2 parcels, a specific plan amendment and development agreement amendment to reallocate affordable housing units among the subject parcels, and a tree permit to remove a valley oak tree on site to accommodate future development. The entitlements will facilitate the development of an apartment project on each of the resultant parcels. The projects are subject to the city's streamlined objective design standards process because at least 20% of the units will be provided as affordable to lower income households. An ODS application is currently in review for both parcels, but the approval of those projects are dependent on the approval of the entitlements before you tonight. The specific plan document will be amended to reflect the subdivision of the site into 2 parcels, F22A and F22B, and the resulting unit allocations. No changes are being made to the existing zoning or land use of the site. 82 units will be allocated to F22A, and 162 units will be allocated to F22B. The proposed unit allocations result in a density that is consistent with the existing HDR land use. Based on the specific plan's affordable housing plan, parcel F22 is allocated 184 affordable rental units, with 91 very low and 93 low-income units. With the subdivision of the site, 81 affordable units will be allocated to F22A, and 103 affordable units will be allocated to F22B. The development agreement by and between the City of Roseville and Fiddyment Land Venture will be amended to address the revised affordable housing unit allocations and the subdivision of the site. Staff finds the DA amendment is in conformance with the public health, safety, and welfare and will not adversely affect the orderly development of the property or the preservation of property values. The 9.8-acre site will be subdivided into 2 parcels with resulting sizes of 2.7 acres for F22A and 7.15 acres for F22B. Both parcels are of sufficient size and shape to accommodate future development. And as mentioned, the development of these parcels are being reviewed separately through the ODS process, which will ensure compliance with the city's design and development standards. An arborist report was provided which identified a valley oak tree on the southern side of the property with a total diameter of 68 inches. Removal of the tree is requested in order to accommodate development of the parcels. The applicant will comply with the compensation requirements of the tree preservation ordinance, and mitigation will be completed with a combination of on-site plantings and payment into the city's in lieu fee program. Removal of the tree will not be detrimental to public health, safety, or welfare, and measures have been incorporated to mitigate impacts. The project is exempt from environmental review pursuant to Section 15182 of the CEQA guidelines as a residential project pursuant to a specific plan. The West Roseville Specific Plan EIR was certified by City Council in February 2004, and no significant changes to the site or new potentially significant impacts have been identified that would require a subsequent or supplemental EIR, and the project is consistent with the previously completed analysis. Early notification of the project was posted on the Arcona website and on the city's Projects of Interest website. A public informational meeting was held in November 2022, and 2 members of the public attended, and none of them expressed any opposition. Notice of tonight's hearing was published in the Press Tribune, mailed to a 300-foot radius, and posted on Arcona. And to date, no comments have been received. In conclusion, staff finds the project is consistent with the zoning ordinance, general plan, and the West Roseville specific plan, and the required findings of fact can be made. At this time, staff recommends the Planning Commission take the actions listed on this slide. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thanks, Kenny. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff? Nope, seeing none. Okay, now I will now open the public hearing. I'd like to invite the project representative for this item to come up and address the commission.
Good evening. I'm Chris Stewart on behalf of USA Properties. USA Properties intends to be the developer builder of the 2 projects that Kenny mentioned in her presentation. They're both have affordable components to them. Just thank you for your consideration. We're fine with all the conditions. Thank you, Kenny, for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, are there any
Questions
questions for the representative? No. Thank you. You can have us. Oh, sorry.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Good evening, Chris. What is the purpose of splitting the parcels?
Splitting them, it is advantageous to the funding arrangements for affordable housing to have 2 separate projects there rather than 1. And so that was the thinking behind that, rather than make one project to create two, so that they could be phased. The project on the east side is going to go first, and then the second, so that they can take advantage of tax credit financing.
All right, makes sense. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I will now open the public comment period. Is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward and address the commission at this time? Okay, seeing none, I will now close the public comment period and then ask the commission commissioners if there's any additional questions of staff or representative. Nope. Okay, I will now close the public hearing. So would anyone like to make a motion on this item?
Well, I move that we recommend the City Council adopt a resolution approving the specific plan amendment, recommend the City Council adopt the 5 findings of fact, and approve the 10th Amendment of the Fiddyment Land Venture Development Agreement, adopt the 3 findings of fact and approve the tentative parcel map subject to 17 conditions of approval, and adopt the 2 findings of fact and approve the tree permit subject to the 19 conditions of approval.
I'll second that.
All right, Commissioner Jensen has made the motion and Commissioner Brashears has seconded the motion. Can we get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Pryor?
Yes.
Commissioner Hagan-Jost?
Yes.
Commissioner Brashears?
Yes.
Vice Chair Covington?
Yes.
Commissioner Jensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Randolph?
Yes.
And Chair Martin.
Yes, the motion's approved. Thank you. There's a 10-day appeal period for this item. Next up on the agenda is the Commissioner Staff Report. Are there any reports from staff at this time?
I just have a couple quick items. Just to let the Planning Commission know, the Blue Oaks Commerce Center project, you approved this project. It was a 310,000 square foot warehouse project on Freedom Way and Industrial back in September. That project was appealed. After working with the applicant to get the date, finally, the appeal was finally heard by City Council on January 18th. The City Council denied the appeal and approved the project, upheld the Planning Commission's action on that project.
Greg, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
What was the basis for the appeal?
So the Lozodrury law firm, who represents Laborers International Union 185,
Okay.
Yep.
filed the appeal.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the second item on my list is that we will have a couple items on the February 23rd meeting. So we will have a meeting in 2 weeks. And other than that, I have nothing else.
Commissioners,
I do have a question for you, Greg. I was sent some pictures the other day from a contact who, so the corner of, near where we considered the Dutch Brothers on Douglas, there was a sort of an abandoned structure. And
You're thinking about Nevada? You're thinking about Nevada
Yeah,
and,
close to there.
and,
Yeah.
and Douglas,
And
roughly?
I may have missed something, but
And it was
sounds like there's some-
demolished?
Yeah,
that-
it was in process.
In process. So that is the site of the, I guess, there were a couple different names, Nevada Street Lofts. But it was a 21 or 22 unit multifamily. It was kind of a 3-story townhome project that was approved in 2019?
2019.
2019. They've had some issues with financing, but they just recently submitted an extension for their entitlements. They have not done everything they need to do to effectuate the entitlements that have been approved. So we're going to be sitting down with them next week to talk about some of the corridor plans, design guidelines that have recently been approved.
But they
Yeah.
did receive a
Yeah.
demolition permit to
Yeah.
remove the structure.
The work that's been done so far is all, above board.
Right,
Absolutely,
I assumed.
yeah.
I just, wondered what the status update was, so, okay.
Any other questions, Commissioners? No? Okay, next up is the adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Commissioner Brashears has made the motion and Commissioner Pryor has seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.